Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here coming at you with the 5th video in our Platinum Trophy Guide for Dark Souls Remastered. Now, like I've said before, this guide does use a duplication glitch and will basically help speed up the process of getting the Platinum Trophy by increasing the souls that you have, levels for your items, and being able to purchase and upgrade things a lot quicker and easier. But in case you don't want to do that, this guide is still going to be helpful and followable. But basically, from here, we are going to jump right into it. In the last video, we'd gone through Anor Londo as well as Sin's Fortress and gotten some trophies along the way. Now from here, you have one of two paths that you can take, one of which is right here in Firelink Shrine, and that is going to lead to one of the endings of the game. As you'll see right here, you have one of the primordial serpents that you can talk to here, or you can go and follow the other path to reach the other serpent. Now, because we're using the glitch, I highly recommend not doing the one in Firelink Shrine, as doing the other one gets us another covenant as well. Now, while we're also here, we're going to talk to Laurentius here. And you basically want to say no to him when he first asks you if you think that it's unsavory. That way you can actually practice pyromancy. So now what you want to do is purchase all of the items that he has available, and then what you're also going to do is upgrade your pyromancy flame all the way to +10. You only need to get it to +10, but if you want to, you can go much higher. It is entirely based on you. Now, also in the last video, like I said, we did talk to Sigurd and get the miracle from him, Emit Force. Now, one last thing that I have to mention in Firelink Shrine, if we come up here to the bridge, as you'll see, we have a vendor over here. Run past all these enemies and make the jump onto the bridge. You can then come over here and come talk to this guy right here, Domhall of Xena. Now, he's very particular because what he does is he actually sells boss armor. As you can see right here, he sells the golem armor. He only sells one of each one, of course, and he only sells certain specific bosses, of course. So if you're one for getting all of the armor sets, then that will be a way to do that. Now from here, we're basically going to go down and fight the next boss. And before doing so, I highly recommend making sure that you have some decent gear and have a good setup. Now I'm going to put a couple more levels into my endurance because I want to make sure that I can really carry some heavy equipment and still be okay to roll around, and maybe put a couple levels into my HP. So now from here, I'm going to try and change my overall armor set into something I think is still going to keep me at a decent overall weight, and we'll see if we fat rolled just a little bit. So let's see what all we can take off to kind of slim that down. Do note anything that ensures that you don't weigh as much is always going to help out, as you'll see. So from here, we're going to head on down and head into New Londo. Now, I almost completely forgot. Another thing that we're going to want to make sure that we have is a staff available to us. I like to use the Ulasil Catalyst. And then we also want to make sure we attune some magic or sorceries. A couple of good ones that you can use is Soul Spear, Homing Soul Mass, and probably, I'd say Great Soul Arrow is a pretty decent one to choose. At least for right now anyways. But the reason why we want to make sure we have those equipped is because this next boss is weak to lightning and more or less magic as well. But heading on down, as you'll see, we can finally access the area that this elevator normally takes you to. Like always, I like to send my elevator back up. But as you'll see, we'll now be here in New Londo Ruins. Now we can actually enter the area and be on our way. Now the first thing you're going to want to grab is right here, and that is a transient curse. Basically what this will allow you to do is damage the ghosts found in the area. So you'll just want to equip that. And then you'll need to activate it. As you'll see, we can now attack the ghosts. Normally you would just go right through them and they could still hit you, but you couldn't hit them. Now while we're here in this starting area, if you come over here, you'll see that there's this item we can come over and grab. Make sure to be very careful when walking through, as the camera sometimes will get skewed when you're walking under some of the arches. Now we're grabbing another Firekeeper soul to upgrade our Estus flask, which is pretty nice. But from here we can walk on up and head through the first couple of sections of New Londo Ruins. Now the main point of this area is to go through and then eventually drain the water of the area. Coming across this bridge here on our left is a ghost waiting to attack, as you'll see. Coming into this room here, you can wait a second and get a couple of the ghosts out of the way. Excuse me. As you'll see, they are doing some decent damage to us, but nothing we can't handle right now. Do note that they also drop more transient curses. And then from here, we're going to follow this path around and over to this fog. Now heading on up here will be at a staircase that we can walk up, and just over here you can unlock a shortcut from the previous area we was just at. Now when going through the area, do be very careful, as this next room is probably one of the tougher rooms in the game, especially with how many ghosts are going to show up. Now normally I wouldn't suggest doing this, but I like to run in and try and take out all of these ghosts here in the back, as you can see. Luckily though, our weapon one-shots them even when we are one-handing it. As you'll see, there are a lot of these ghosts here. We can just get him out of the way. Perfect. As you can see, they drop plenty of the transient curses. But from here we can now finally head up into this main room, or this roof of the area. Now normally for that last room I would highly advise not doing what I did, at least on any playthrough after New Game Plus. Here you'll meet EG, and he will give us the key, but we're not quite done yet. If you actually talk to him again, he will allow us to purchase the Resist Curse spell. This is one of the spells needed, but now we could finally move on. The other thing I find kind of inconvenient about him and the placement of him is that if you do get cursed and you don't have a way of breaking it, it is really hard to sometimes just come and find him to do that. But from here, what I like to do is run and jump down this broken staircase to skip having to go through this building and come out onto the other side. Now following this path off and around over here, we can use the key that he gave us to finally drain the area of all the water. As you'll see right here. And now we can head down to the lower area. Now do be careful of the dark wraiths in this area. But now heading down the elevator, this is one I don't actually send back up, so don't worry about that. But coming down here into the lower area, you'll eventually stumble upon your first dark wraith right here. These guys are pretty tough and hit pretty hard, so do be careful. Now, in case you're curious, your transient curse does have a time limit on it. I'm not exactly sure how long it lasts, but I wish there's more of a indicator put onto it, but that's perfectly fine as is. Do be careful of that grab attack, as it will actually drain you of your humanity. But coming in to this area here, we'll have a couple of enemies we'll have to fight and deal with. Now, first things first, we are going to bait the first dark wraith over to us. He makes it pretty easy. Do note that they drop Titanite chunks, which is pretty nice. Now, coming off here over to the left, we'll have the next one. I mainly just like to try and go for backstabs on them, or go for hits that I know I can land on them. Here you'll have, I honestly don't know what this enemy's name is. I've been playing this game for a very long time, which is kind of sad. Now, I will say I'll swap out the Dragon Crest Shield for the Crest Shield, simply because it will give us more magical defense when we use it. But we're not quite done yet. Coming over here off to the right from where we entered, we can head up and actually grab our next ember that we can give to Andre. So following this path around, you're going to want to follow it along the right area, as you'll see like I do. You'll keep following it around. It's a very specific path, of course. But then you'll finally come up this staircase right here, and then you want to immediately just turn around, and right here you'll find the very large ember. This will allow you to upgrade certain items all the way up to 15, which is pretty nice. But then from here, what you can do is you can just drop down and come out here to the left. You'll know you're going out the right way because you'll be in kind of a small pool of water. Do note another of these dark wraiths will attack. Like I said, these guys can hit pretty hard. But now from here we can continue on our main path. Heading up, as you'll see about right here, we have lost our transient curse, so we'll just reactivate it real quick, as there's still a couple of ghosts that we're going to fight. So what I like to do in this room is I'll run into it and then aggro the dark wraith, as you can see. Just like so. And then from here, what you can actually do is you can wait, and the ghosts will come at you through this little corner wall here. This guy will also try and attack us from inside the building. Sometimes it's best just to run in and take him out. Like so. And then deal with the dark wraith as well. Get another Titanite chunk is pretty nice. Do be careful of these exploding skulls. I probably should have mentioned that before. But off here in this back right corner, you can find a chest with some Titanite chunks. Now, I don't know why the ghosts haven't come after us, but coming out that door and off to the right, and over here in this back right, we can find the last dark wraith to deal with. As you'll see. Pretty easy. And we'll get the Dark Hand as a rare drop. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to naturally get that item, but getting it early on as a drop is nice. From here, we can summon the Witch Beatrice, and while we have the time, we're going to swap out our Gold Serpent Ring for the Covenant of Artorias. Now, from here, we can finally enter the innermost chamber. Make sure Beatrice is on the way. And also make sure that you have your sorceries ready to go. Now from here, I like to just walk all the way down and try not to risk falling down and dying on one of these lower little platforms that are sticking out. Trust me, it can happen. You can try and drop down from one of these and hit one on a lower area and just die. It's not fun. So once we're here and ready to go, make sure you're full healed up. Now you can start the fight with sorcery or you can start it with melee. It's really just going to be a DPS test. So use whatever item and weapons you are most comfortable with and are the best for you. Now upon a couple of seconds after being in the area, the first 4 king will spawn, as you'll see. As you'll see, he can do some damage, but between you and Beatrice, it shouldn't be too bad. I'll try and block this for her. That way she doesn't get all of her HP drained. And then as well, once you beat a king, you can also get some extra damage in on it. So do keep that in mind. Once again, I'll try and block the hit for her. And then take aggro. Trying to stay as close as you can to the king when you have aggro is pretty key here to help Beatrice get some extra damage in for you. Like I said, while they're fading out, you can get another extra hit or two based on your weapon on them. Like I said, if you aren't killing them fast enough, they'll start spawning more and overwhelming you a whole lot quicker than you're probably prepared for. But as you can see, we're doing pretty well. Sometimes it's also best to roll into him to get some good damage. But as you can see, we're almost done with the fight. And now we're just waiting on the 4th one to show up. But just like that, we'll have defeated the 4 kings. And that will get you a trophy as well. Now, as you'll see, we have met the next Primordial Serpent. Basically, if you want to learn about more of the game, you can. But you want to basically say yes to him. And he'll transport us to the kiln. So from here at the Firelink altar, you're going to want to place the Lord Vessel like so. And then from here you just want to come back and talk to him again. And he'll take us back to the Abyss. Pretty easy so far. Now, one last thing we want to do is talk to him again, and now we can enter the Covenant for the Abyss. And as you'll see, we got the Dark Hand. Now, if you want to get some armor, you can also offer him 30 humanity, and you will get a full armor set as well, as you'll see like so. It's not necessary, but in case you want it, you can get it. You'll get the red eye orb as well as the full dark set. So the dark sword and the armor set as well. But now we're going to head all the way back to Firelink Shrine. Alright, so once you're back here at Firelink Shrine, we still have a couple of places that we can go to. I'll probably do the next one as the Duke's Archives, just to get it out of the way. But like I said, make sure that Sigurd is ready to head down. Or I might decide on doing the Catacombs next. I'm not entirely sure just yet. It might be the one I do last. But I do know that the next one we're going to do is going to be found in Anor Londo. Alright, but this is going to be probably a shorter video than normal, as I just wanted to cover the 4 main bosses in these next couple of videos in their own, instead of trying to combine them into one bigger video, just to make the areas feel more specific to the videos. But as always, this has been Mr. Pilgrim, and I do hope that these videos and guides are helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form. As always, I will see you all in the next video.